Oh, hey guys, and welcome. No. Something's not right about this picture. No. I see, I get it. I know what it is. I can tell. I know Disney now own Marvel and Star Wars Cinematic Universe. I know. But we can't talk about a Marvel film and wearing Star Wars merchandise. No. That doesn't work. Let's change it up. Ha ha ha! That's better. Yes, love it. Now we can talk about Black Widow. Yes. Guys, if you're new to my channel, I just want to give you the heads up. And first of all, an incredibly warm welcome. It is so good to have you here. I really appreciate you clicking on this link. Thank you. And if you're new and you haven't already, why don't you go ahead and subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and leave a thumbs up on this review. Thank you so much for that. That is amazing. I really appreciate that. Guys, you're here to see my review for Black Widow. But before I go any further, guys, I'm going to roll that intro. I'm going to give you the director, the cast, the year it came out, and all the other good stuff that involves in this film. And then I'll give you my view, personal view, on Black Widow. Let's roll that intro. The Black Widow, aka Natasha Romanoff, is given to the KGB, which grooms her to become the ultimate operative when the USSR breaks up the government, tries to kill her as the action moves to present day New York, where she is a freelance operative. The director of Black Widow is Kate Shortland. Scarlett Johansson reprising her role from Iron Man 2, The Avengers, Captain America, The Winter Soldier, The Avengers Age of Ultron, The Avengers Infinity War, Captain Marvel, Avengers Endgame, and now her own movie in Black Widow. Joining the cast of Black Widow, we have Florence Pugh as Yelena Blubber. Also joining the cast of Black Widow, we have the one and only David Harbour as Alexei Shortakar. And last but definitely not least, we have Rachel Weisz as Melina Vostokov. Action, adventure, sci-fi movie 2021. So straight off the bat, guys, anyone who has been following my channel for any period of time, guys, I personally don't do spoilers. That's right, spoilers in my movie reviews at all, because in my personal opinion, guys, spoilers are not fair. And that's just how I roll, guys. So you won't get spoilers from me. Guys, if you have been following the Marvel Cinematic Universe, one of the things that you will know that is very evident throughout all of their films is they have a post-credit scene. So a post-credit scene, for those of you who don't know, is literally a scene. So the movie finishes, the credits roll, and then right after the credits roll, they play another scene, and then that is the entirety of the movie. And there is a post-credit scene to this movie, so stick around and enjoy the post-credit scene. A thing that I found absolutely incredible about this film that was just mind-blowing to me personally, guys, was the flawless editing. Now, editing is a really big deal, and it literally is one of the most time-consuming things in film. Literally. It is so unbelievably time-consuming. Editing is one of the things in film that actually takes the longest to do. Now, you film the film like I film my reviews, but then after I film my reviews, I literally go into the computer room, into the study, and then I edit them so that the final result turns out to be something to actually entertain you, the audience, with. And that is the most time-consuming process of the entire thing. Not a bad thing, but the most time-consuming process. And that's why people, editors, get paid really good money for editing, specifically in a movie like this, where they have the budget to pay the people for their time, but not not only their time, their expertise, because editing really is one of those things in film that is so on point. And not only that, guys, you have to remember the camera work. There's so much involved in a monster movie like this. It is a juggernaut of thing to do, and the director has to make sure there's so many elements of it that fold together and make it what it is. Guys, if you are a fan of the MCU movies, then this is definitely your cup of tea. The only flaw that I would say in this movie, in my personal opinion, that I found in this movie overall is I didn't find it funny. I just didn't find it. I found there was a couple of little tiny bits of humor here and there, but all in all, I just didn't think that the humor landed for me. In saying that, humor is subjective, and humor is one of those things in anything that it has to be really, really good to land for people. And it's really subjective. Like, you might find something funny and another person might find it not funny. It is what it is. But in saying that, guys, all that aside, one of the things that I found incredible about this scene was this movie. In a scene in this movie, and it's right towards the end of the movie, and it's actually Natasha Romanoff, right, who's actually played by Scarlett Johansson. Her character in this movie, she does something to do with a helicopter, and I was blown away by the execution of how good that looked. And I mean blown away. It was so well done that it just looked real. And I mean, it looked so real. That was one of the things about this film, guys, that really, really blew me away, was how authentic this movie looked. And I mean really, really authentic. This movie looked real. It looked genuine. It looked just, the CGI was really on point. And I tell you, with Hollywood blockbusters these days, that stuff is imperative, because us as the audience, you can tell when something's just so fake. But then when the editors trick us to making us feel like it's real, that's a whole new ball game. And it is so impressive when they actually execute it to the degree where us as an audience member are questioning what we're even watching. One of the things that I like to ask my audience members, and this is the reality of it, guys, is, does Black Widow have in its core element, in its essential thing, in its DNA, the thing that film needs in order for us as an audience member to want to go back days, months, years, decades later and rewatch it? And that's what I like to call, in my personal opinion, guys, rewatchability. Do you think, in your opinion, if you've seen Black Widow, do you think Black Widow has rewatchability, guys? Leave your comments in the comment section below, because I actually would like to know your thoughts on that. That would be really interesting to know if you are with me and you think that Black Widow has rewatchability, because I actually appreciate your views on this movie. Speaking of this movie, guys, obviously, one of the sequences in this movie, and it's actually right at the beginning of this movie, is where David Harbour's character does something to a truck, and it's in the heat of the moment, in an action sequence. And I was really, really impressed by the execution of that scene, because in the way I saw it as an audience member, I was like, oh wow, whoa. Yeah, that's cool. No, that's really cool. And it was just so well done. It was so well executed. And there were so many moments in this movie that just, I gave the nod to. I was like, yeah, I was convinced completely. I have to say, guys, unfortunately, realistically, there are a couple of scenes in this movie where the action dies down and then they really get into the story of it. And I have to admit, guys, unfortunately, that kind of, those real sort of touching scenes, unfortunately, really dropped the ball for me. Not in a drastic way, but having the runtime this movie does, I felt it, unfortunately, and not in a really, really bad way, but I felt it, and I genuinely felt it, and it just wasn't like, it just made me think like I want more action. I want the action back, but not in a bad way. But in a movie like this, you need to ask yourselves, does the action stick? Not only action, but the acting. Does the acting stick? Because if the acting isn't convincing for us as an audience member, we don't buy it. Like, we really, really don't buy what's happening on screen. It is what it is. And we're watching this movie going, but really? Really? And all the acting in this movie, the only one character, and I won't give it away, I'm not going to be a jerk and tell it what it is, but I found her accent dropped in certain scenes of this film very, very subtly, but I picked it up and I was like, oh, really? It was just a little bit of a shame for me. It wasn't overall drastic or anything like that, but I was just like, oh, that could have improved. But other than that, it was amazing. And like I said at the beginning of this movie review, guys, if you are a fan of the MCEU, the Marvel Cinematic Extended Universe, then you will appreciate and value and love this movie. This is honestly a treat to all Marvel movie goers, fans, and honestly, this really is one of those movies that is going to stand the test of time in the Marvel Cinematic Universe because of the juggernaut that it is in itself. And in itself, guys, it is a standalone movie. You don't need to watch the rest of the films, the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in order to understand this movie or even know where it's coming from, because it is a good standalone film by itself, and that you have to have a lot of appreciation, especially coming from where it is in the sequences of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Another thing that I have to say, guys, before I wrap this movie review up, guys, is the soundtrack. The score of this movie, the soundtrack, was absolutely outstanding, and I really, really loved it. It blended so perfectly with the rest of the movie, and it was incredible. That definitely, for me, is a huge thumbs up. Like I said, guys, to end this review and to give you the trivia, the action and the acting in this movie, bonded and bound, was brilliant. It was incredible. Everyone brought their A game and everyone knew what they were doing. The director, the editing, it was brilliant, guys. Guys, for the end of my movie review, guys, I'm going to give you a piece of trivia that I hope you'll really enjoy, guys, and then I'm going to wrap this up. So, guys, you know what time it is. Anyone who has been following my channel for any period of time, you know what time it is. Guys, it's time in my movie reviews to give you guys trivia. So what time is it, guys? That's right, guys. It's trivia time! On the 6th of July 2020, it was announced that Marvel Studios executive, including Kevin Feige, was so impressed with Florence Pugh's performance as Yelena that they planned to include her in the future MCU films, and she may even become the new Black Widow. In fact, Feige stated this film was written to showcase Bolivia just as Scarlett Johansson's Natasha Romanoff. So there you go, guys. I appreciate your time. You guys are amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for sticking around and watching my movie review for Black Widow. Guys, seriously, I appreciate your time so much. You guys are incredible. Don't forget who's bringing this movie review for Black Widow, guys. This is Superman Steve. Appreciate you guys always. Loving your time. Flying out!